you better hop over here and stop scrolling because we're going to make this together. We're going to start with a 14-inch wreath base, and we're going to kind of go way off this base. Think about that when you're getting ready to design. Sometimes you can start with a smaller base and really use it as kind of like the structure for the design and then go way off of it. And that's what we're going to do in this one. We know that the main durable piece in this is the bunny head here. So he's got to go in first. I'm going to be putting him right over here on the right side of the wreath. And I'm just going to be poking him in with some of our skewers so he can just go right into the base. These are our wooden skewers, and we use these instead of cooking. We're cooking up something pretty, a wreath. We're going to use these to stake him into the wreath base. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I know I'm going to have him over on this side. And he does have a little hanger on here, but I'm not going to use that this time. So I'll just take my scissors and we'll just chop that off. Give him a little haircut because we don't need that. But I do want to add a lot of support with the skewers to hold him in place. We're going to do that right now. So once I know where I want him, which is pretty much on the right side of the design, then I'm going to take the skewers and we're going to dip them in glue. And you're able to kind of come in and start to attach him. You're just going to kind of get some, you got to have a little bit of angle on it. And you're going to feel it go in. Okay, the first one's in. And usually I want to do 2 or 3 of these just to make sure I'm getting it in there good. This one will come from the back. All right, let me trim that one off because it's a little, it's going to poke out the back. All right, we'll trim both of those. So we've got 2 in. Now my next angle is we need some from the top because we need it supported everywhere. And that's why we designed these bunny heads out of foam. So they are super easy to attach to a wreath base. So I'm going to do the same thing, and this is going to go into the top of his head. So you can see here I went in way at the top. And now I've got 3 in there, and that may be enough. I'm going to give it this shake test just to see. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, I think that's fine. You could put as many as you like. You can also take and put a wire in the back and just totally wire them in, whatever's easier. I just like to use my dowels. It works pretty well. And you kind of use leverage all around to help hold it. The tension helps hold. The first part's done and the bunny's in. All right, now let's start part 2. We need to add that greenery. This time our greenery is going to be this cherry blossom bush. And so with this one, it's got a floral head and a greenery and a little filler flower. So I'm able to separate that into sections and have the perfect picks. So I'm going to do that for 2 bushes. Once you have your pieces all torn down, we need to take and do what we call shaking hands. So that means we're going to make friends with this spray and we're going to shake hands and get each piece spread out to where it's really pretty. And then trim off the edge so it's nice and neat so you're ready to put these in your wreath and you can start creating your design. I'm going to do that with every piece, and then after every piece is fluffed out, we'll start putting them in. Okay, Blue Merinos, we have shaped out. We shook hands with every one of these pieces, and now we're ready to start to put them in our design. I know that I'm going to want to put my bow right here in the center. So I'm going to start working out in so I kind of get a shape developed. So we're going to go over here in my electric skillet. My glue pot is right here on my left. I generally have that out of camera because it's not pretty. It's just over to the side. And I'm going to take, and once I get a little glue on these, we're going to start to press these in and shape out our design. Now, one of the neatest trends we've been playing with is like neutral pieces for Easter as well. And they have doing so well because the farmhouse, the natural look, even though some of that is kind of going out, there's so many people who have that decor and they want seasonal pieces to go with it. So it's kind of like a cottagey, fresh, clean look for Easter. And we've done it for many years, but we are doing incredibly well with it in our Etsy shop. When I put something up new that's natural, people are loving it. So that's kind of why we are making this design today in this color palette. I've got my longest pieces in, and now I'm going to work towards the middle. Everybody gets a little glue, and then I'm putting them in to the design here, just going between the grapevine. I'm not pushing it to the back. It's going between. We'll keep shaping that out. Putting it in here. Thank goodness we've already shaped these. It helps it go a lot faster. Now I'm gonna we're just gonna kind of do mirror image. What we did in the bottom, we're gonna do on the top. And I'm gonna bring that in here to the top. I love it. We have lots of design school students who love to come and create and learn how to create for stress relief and just a really fun hobby. So it's so fun when we kind of get in the zone and get to create together. I love this part. Now, this is a little bit of Spanish moss, okay? And whenever I get too much glue or I've got like a gap that I need to fill and make sure a stem doesn't rotate on me, I'm gonna put a little of that Spanish moss in there. So that's what I just did right there. Okay, so I'm down to where I have 4 pieces left. So I'm gonna take, and we're gonna cut a little bit to go to the inside. So we're gonna take one of our pieces and just get our wire cutters and cut that in half here. So I get 2 smaller pieces out of 1 big one, okay? Just, you could do that anytime with any floral you have. Most of them can be sectioned out, no problem. So if you're limited on how many supplies you have left to make something, think about sectioning it out so you can kind of get even distribution in your design. Don't worry, okay? You can make it work. So now I'm gonna bring these 2 to the center and go right between those. Okay, and then I'm gonna give this one a little bit of a bend. We love working with things that have that nice wire in them. Let me show you where we're at so far. Look at this. The bunny head's in. I've got 3 pieces of the cherry blossom down here, 3 above, and we got a great base. We're just starting off, but we got it. We got a great starting point. And we call this setting our perimeter. And sometimes we do that with florals, sometimes we do it with grasses or greenery. Here we did it with a combination of both. So we set our perimeter on the design. Next step, we're gonna keep these to the side. We'll be using this more in a little bit. And now I'm gonna grab my tulips. I love my tulips. These are some of the small tulip bushes. And we're gonna cut these down to go in here and start adding them in. They're a great spring flower, and these have a cute little head. So I'm gonna take and start to cut these off here, and then we'll put them in our design. The leaves can push up just a little bit, and I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna cut, cut, cut. And I like the leaves kind of a little bit tighter to the head anyway. We're just gonna take and cut those off. Okay, Bloomerinos, all the heads are cut off those bushes, and now I have individual tulips just like this. And we're gonna put them right into our wreath base. Now, I've got a great shape going, and we wanna kind of work with that as we continue to design in here. So I'm gonna put these in clusters of 2, and then we'll take and we will get them loaded up with the glue. Now with these tulips, could you make sure you're seeing the front of the leaves? That's one of my hugest pet peeves ever, is when the leaves are backwards. So try to make the leaves go to the front. And we'll start off by putting some down here low. And then we're gonna work our way backward up to our, what we call our transition point, where the direction shifts. So we're gonna work on that. So that's 2. Let's do a cluster of 3 here for fun too. All right, so I've got it in a cluster, and then I'm gonna put them all 3 in together. I'm giving it a good swirl in my glue. And we're gonna come out here. I cannot wait to put this puppy in my Etsy shop. Whoop, this one got loose on me. Let me get some more glue on it. It needed a little bit more. Okay, perfect. It's gonna go in there. So I've got 2 clusters down here at the bottom. Let's go to the top and we'll add some more just up at the top. So I'm gonna start with a cluster of 2 to match this one. So I'm looking for a shorter one here. Here we go. So a long one, a short one. And I'm giving that a little swirl in the glue pot, and I'm gonna come up above up here. Let's go in here. Yay, those 2 are going in right there. Now, I'm gonna do this one matching right in here. So move those floral blooms over. Oh, and I want them to stay together pretty good clustered. So I'm gonna push them and watch those leaves. Don't you turn on me, leaf. What I wanna see a back. I like the cute front on the leaves. Here we go. Now I have a cluster of 3. I'm gonna hold it tight, and we'll do the same thing like this right in there. Let's come up here. Come on in. All right. I want to make sure it's going into that wreath. Like if you feel like, something's stopping it, you got to pull it out and redo it. And sometimes there's some grapevine kind of holding it up behind. And then if you get a little hole, grab your Spanish moss. Right in here, I've got a little bit of hole, so I'm going to push some moss in there. It kind of creates a nice little bond with the glue and the Spanish moss. All right, now let's have a little bit going to the outside. Now right in here, I think it'd be great to have some going to the outside. Right in this back part. But before I put it in, let's put a little bit more of the cherry blossom with the greenery, and it's got a little bit of fern in it. Let's put that in next. I'm going to cut this into 2 smaller pieces again because I think that works a little bit better. We don't need it so long, and because we want to kind of tighten up this outer perimeter as we get back to the middle here, because this is where our bow's going to go. So now I'm going to take and put a piece right here. I love that. A little short piece, and we're leaving a little space open for the bow. And in design school, we call that the bow zone. So we'll leave room for our bow zone right in there. Now I'm going to come above. I'm going to do the same thing. Just going on the top side of the bow zone. Yeah. All right, now we kind of have a good base set in there for us to add the tulips back here. So let's do that right now. I'm going to grab 2 and 2. We're going to do 2 clusters of 2 because I want you to save about, I think we're going to save 4 tulips to work in around the bow, and then we're going to save some of the cherry blossom spray to go in around the bow too. And I'm going to show you why that's important when we get to that part. So now let's put these tulips in. So our clusters went 2, 3, 2. All right. It's a weird math thing and I get all into it, but I'm not going to go too crazy right now, but just know 2, 3, 2. All right. You don't have to add it up or do anything with it. Just enjoy the process. You're supposed to have fun and relax, Khalid. Why are you talking about math? We're just saying. We're just saying. All right, let's go on the top side. Yo, my daughter does all this math stuff that's so high level. That used to be my jam, and now it's like, oh, what are you doing? You're passing me so fast. I guess that's what they're supposed to do. All right, let me show you what we got going so far. We got our bunny head in our first step, and then we laid the gray perimeter. We started off with our foundation here with our cherry blossom, which has our greenery and everything. Look how cute it is. This guy is so cute so far. And then we came back in with the tulips. Still the same color palette with the cream and green. And we did the 2, 3, 2 pattern up and above. And now our next step before we add any more floral is gonna be the bow, and we're gonna put it right into that zone that we left called the bow zone. It's going right in here to the middle. So I'm gonna take and grab my cable tie and just put it through a couple of pieces of the grapevine here. You don't need to go through a whole bunch. I don't like going all the way through the back if I can keep from it. If you can keep the back of your wreath just pretty neat and natural, it's a little more appealing to people who have storm doors or glass doors. It's hard when you first start to keep the back neat, but over time you'll get a lot better at it. Mainly because you're not putting your stems all the way through the back, okay? You'll just get better, I promise. Over many years I've gotten a lot better with that. Now that my bow is in the bow zone, I'm gonna kind of tuck it over a little and we're gonna start to fluff it up. And you need to boss it around. You got to be the boss of your bow. Be a little aggressive. And layer in the tails. Because we don't want to feel like, I don't want to feel like my tails are just all only at the front. I want them worked in to the design. I just want them worked in there. I love this. Bring that down. Let's bring these here. Flip this around. Oh my gosh, how cute. See how cute it's coming together ready? We put that bow in. And this is immediately picking up the black from the hat and the black on the glasses, and it's really tying that in with that pop of the black color. And this is velvet too, so we even have the same texture going on. All of that's kind of really important in the cohesiveness of your final project. So think about that when you're putting stuff together. Even the texture can matter in design. Now I'm going to grab the last few pieces we have left as promised. And we are going to start with our greenery, and we're going to start using that first. And I want to use it in and around the bow, because that makes it feel like it's coming out of a garden or the woods, and very fresh. So I'm going to take and trim these all down to where I've got 3 pieces here. And we're going to work that right into the bow itself. So I'm going to start with this one up higher. This is a pretty long stem. Trim it down shorter because you're going into that space right behind the bow, and you just don't have a whole ton of room. So I'm going to trim it down a little. And we're going to go right above. Going right above. Oh yeah. Once you do this, you're going to love it. I mean, once you start to break the plane of the bow a little bit with florals, you'll just love that. And it just makes it so soft looking. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to work on the outside right here. So I don't have to cut this one so short, but it's going right in behind the bow. Just going to tuck it in and then bend it. There you go. Bring it forward, and then now I've got that coming out. And oh, I've got one more piece here we had already cut. And this one I think I'll use kind of out and down in this section right here. So you can literally just go slow and layer these pieces in. They're short and they just stay tight to the bow. It's kind of your detail finish work that you're working on. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the inside. And we'll cut this piece down too into small little pieces. So even every stem you're using in this project, you can take and trim it down. If you haven't gotten the kit for this project, we'll be happy to share that link with you. Just ask for it in the comments and we'll get you the link to the kit. Okay, I'm going to trim this piece off. And now we're going to work a little bit more to the inside. Same song, different verse here. I was just tearing off a little paper. Sometimes the paper gets a little bit long. And if it does, what happens? You end up putting in your glue pot and then you're swinging glue all over on that paper. Just trim it off. Just tear it. You don't even need anything special. Just tear it. All right, I'm going to use a little bit more right in there. So I've kind of come in between each little layer of the bow and softened it up with the greenery and the filler flowers. So perfect. Right there. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, let me show you. Let me give you a good close-up. Oh my goodness, so cute. So stinking cute. Okay, we have some tulips we saved for around the bow too. We're gonna do those next. We got 4 tulips left, and I think they would be super cute just to kind of tuck in around the bow. You can use them individually, meaning like 2 above the bow, 2 below. I think that would work fine. So let's kind of go with that plan. I'm going to take the first one here. I pulled the leaf up a little bit. And we're going to kind of go in. This one's kind of got this natural curve that way. So it'll go perfect right here, kind of curving over toward the bunny's head. And we'll just pop it in. Right in here. So I just move my bow out to the side for just a second. And then I just bring that back. Perfect. All right, so now I'd like one maybe in the middle, kind of coming right to here. So how about this one? We'll give it a little bit of a bend. And we'll go right above. So adorable. I'm loving this. Okay, so that's what we've got in the top section. Now we're going to work in the bottom section. So in the bottom section here, our shape kind of curves around this way. So automatically, I think it'd be great to have one going in right here. So I'm going to watch my leaves, make sure they are going forward and not facing backwards, and then just go right in here. And then let's do one more, just right, kind of coming out of the center. I think that's like a no-brainer. Matter of fact, we have one piece of the greenery left. Let's put that first in there, and then we'll put the tulip right on top. This is going to be just the perfect finishing touch. Right in here to the bottom. Have that kind of come down perfect. And then let's bring that tulip right out of there. I'm just going to take my ribbons and fluff them just a little bit. I love this type of color palette. I think it's just so natural. It's classic, timeless. And I'm sure that's why we always do well with it, because no matter how you change up your decor for different seasons, it's always going to work with whatever you're doing. Blue Merinos, can you believe it? We made it together that quick and easy, and it looks like a professional job. And I know you could do it too, or you can create beautiful florals just like this.